Okay, Pirates of the Caribbean 4 on Stranger Tides. The nice with this one is it actually really streamlined it. It's pretty much Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow. That is one of your main characters. It begins with someone else parading as Jack Sparrow, trying to get a crew together. Now I probably need to give a spoiler as to who is playing Captain Jack Sparrow if you know who's in the movie. So I won't even mention who happens to be portraying Captain Jack. Barbossa is now working for England. He's a privateer. And the first time you see him, you get to find out that he's lost the Black Pearl as well as part of his leg. And he looks undeniably creepy in more kind of the English manner of seafaring individuals. So he has the long wig and the really bad kind of powdery makeup. So the crux of this is Jack trying to find the Fountain of Youth. So essentially you have 3 different groups trying to find it. You have Jack with Blackbeard. Yes, he kind of gets shanghaied into working with Blackbeard. Blackbeard, who of course has zombie crewmen. So you have zombies. You also have the English, being led by Barbossa, as well as the Spanish. You pretty much almost forget that the Spanish are doing anything. The Spanish are kind of thrown in there like most Bruckheimer movies. They're kind of like the bizarre random third party who occasionally helps move the plot along. And this varies the Bruckheimer formula to a T. You know, with the fairly standard, well, we're like an hour and a half into this. Somebody should have already gotten an item they're trying to find, but they're going to go to where it should have been. It won't be there, and then they have to go, of course, confront the other people to get it. Sound confusing enough? Actually, it's not. This is pretty much, you know, a little bit here, a little bit in England, boats, all 3 groups going to the same location. So it is very much just a really smooth linear transition from one section to the next. The attack from the mermaids is done very well. You can tell in 3D, this is probably done a lot in 3D. Having seen it in 2D, there are a couple of scenes that just scream, this would be pointing at your face if this was in 3D. The couple of times you see Blackbeard draw his sword which kind of magically controls things on his ship. Don't know if it's just his ship or ships in general. But you see him point it straight out into the audience. It's like, had I had spent $3 more to see it in 3D, this sort of probably be in my face. As well as later on. And of course, they do happen to make it to the Fountain of Youth, which of course then leads to a battle between one-legged Barbossa and Blackbeard. Okay. You know, the items they have to get, they get them relatively easily. You've got some explosions, you've got some very beautiful scenery. You know, the head mermaid, one really bizarre fact, she didn't speak English before they started filming. So the few lines that she gives, remember, she didn't know the language before they started filming. Another caveat, Penelope Cruz was pregnant. I got this from an interview with Jeffrey Rush where he said, you know, there were 7 Penelope Cruz stand-ins. So he said, we got to spend time in a jungle with 7 Penelope Cruz lookalikes. This was really rough filming. You know, he does a phenomenal job as Barbossa. So the nice thing is, if you haven't seen the previous ones, you'll kind of be okay. They did actually remove a lot of that baggage. The only thing they actually keep around is the Black Pearl, which established pretty fast as being the ship that Johnny Depp used to own, that Barbossa had, that Barbossa lost. And the compass. If you remember the compass from the previous ones, when you're holding it, whatever your heart desires most, it'll point the way to. So how does this one end? It ends almost a lot like how some of the other ones have ended. Barbossa is in command of another ship. Johnny Depp is again shipless. That's what happens. If he begins with no ship, chances are pretty good he will also end with no ship. as well as a small interlude with him and Penelope Cruz, and they had some phenomenal chemistry. They haven't been on screen together since Blow, but when you see this, they do a great job. So, Pirates of the Caribbean, it's your standard Bruckheimer movie. They really don't break anything that's really new and extraordinary. It's just a good, fun summer popcorn movie.